Hey, what's up? It's your girl K.Honesty, and I'm about to review the first season of SWV and XSCAPE, the Queens of R&B. Okay? Anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. These are my feelings, my thoughts, my opinions, like I said. I will be looking over here to my right because I write my notes while I'm watching the show, and I'm going to be looking through them to make sure that I get everything I want to say out. And I will be drinking from my water bottle more than usual this time because my mouth is super dry today. Okay, so if you have not seen the season premiere of SWV and XSCAPE, the Queens of R&B, turn this video off right now because I'm about to be spoiling. We're about to be talking about the whole episode, and I don't want nobody in the comments talking about, you spoiled, I didn't even watch it yet. Yeah, so turn this off, turn it, go watch it, come back and watch this. Please watch the entire video. Please like the video. Please share the video. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to. And yeah, just support your girl. Comment down below. Tell me what you thought about anything I said or anything about the show. Yeah, so last chance. If you haven't seen the episode, turn this video off. And like I always say, I'm not a public speaker, so I definitely will be like pausing, stuttering like I just did. I'll be looking at my notes, probably pausing to make sure I'm on track with my notes, things like that. That's just how I'm just keeping it real. Okay? All right, so we're going to start this show. Well, not start the show, but we're going to start this review. So the episode starts off, of course, they talking about SWV and XSCAPE, all their accolades, everything they've been through the years, their success, their downfalls, things like that. Talks about how both groups split up. Talk about how the verses in a sense, kind of brought them back together. Both groups, more so XSCAPE. So stuff like that, like XSCAPE and SWV, like we know. These are like legendary R&B groups. So basically they just giving us everything that we already knew in the beginning. So then we get to this scene in the studio. I told you my mouth is dry. We get to the scene in the studio with, I used to always get the sisters confused. Oh yeah, let me say this too. I know that these groups, SWV and XSCAPE, I know they've had like their own little spinoffs and things like that. I have not seen any of those spinoffs. So anything that I'm saying, my opinions are based off this show and this show alone. Because I have not seen any of the SWV or any of the XSCAPE's spinoffs. So anything that had, because I know they showing the little clips of their previous spinoffs and stuff like that. I don't know anything about those. I'm going off what I've seen on the show. Anyway, I used to get the two sisters confused in XSCAPE. Tamika and Tasha. I used to think Tasha was Tamika and Tamika was Tasha, but now I know on this show that now I know who is who. So we get this scene in the studio with Tiny, and I think Tiny's name is Tamika too, if I'm not mistaken. So we get this scene in the studio with Tiny, Tamika, and Candy. So basically they talking about how it'd be a good look coming from off the verses to like do a I guess it's a joint. Is it a tour or just a performance? I feel like it's a conjoined tour. Or it might just be one single performance. I don't know. Or like a performance, the same performance every day at a certain location, something like that. But they talking about getting this thing in motion in the studio, basically. And Candy is talking about how apparently her and Tamika had a falling out back in the day. Tamika went on a radio radio interview, and like said some foul stuff about Candy. But then I guess apparently they squashed the beef and they cool now because they all in there kicking it in the studio. Tasha's not there. We found out later why. So they get to talking and they talking about how Tamika and Tasha are still not on good terms from a show that they did in Vegas where apparently Tasha and Tamika were locked out of their dressing room. So Tasha decided that she wanted to leave and left Tamika there, and Tamika is really upset about it or something. And then they get into a group chat, and Tamika said something to Tasha about, I guess you don't have a butt to kiss or something like that. So Tasha takes that as her body shaming her. And that's what Tiny's telling Tamika. And Tamika and Candy like, really? So that comes back into the episode. We'll get to that later. So we get to the SWV stage rehearsal. And they look bomb for their age. They doing it. They thriving. They, I guess that's their manager. I don't know who the guy was. He sat them down, was like, yeah, XSCAPE's people reached out to us about doing a joint collaboration sort of thing, performance sort of thing. And they was like, yeah, we down. Lily was a little hesitant, but she was like, we could sit down and, no, did she say we could sit down and talk about it? They basically was on board with it, but, like, all the legalities have to get into play, I guess. But they seemed down when the guy brought it to them. It was like a short conversation. Like, they seemed with it. But Lily seemed a little bit hesitant, but I'm pretty sure, as we see in the episode, she's going to come around. So then we get all the little family scenes of Escape, because we don't get no family scenes of SWV that I can remember. I don't think we got no family scenes of SWV this week. But we get some next week, I see in the preview or whatever. But I guess this week it was for Escape. So we get Tasha, and her family is so cute. Her husband, her son, they out there. They playing basketball. She come out there with her little shorts on. Her husband like, I got distracted, baby. And I was like, okay, that's cute. Her little family dynamic is cute. I was like, that's cute. Tiny family. We get the Tiny family. Of course, I love the Harrises. I've been watching T.I. and Tiny since that show came out. And I was wondering when they was going to come back. But I know the situations with the women throwing the allegations at the couple and things like that. So I knew that the show was probably going to be on hiatus for a little while. But I'm glad we get to see the kids, some of the kids with Tiny on this show. We saw Major. We even saw a little Eris. We didn't get to see her on T.I. and Tiny because she wasn't born yet. So we get to see Tiny with the fam again. So I thought that was so cute. We didn't see T.I., of course, but he might make an appearance. Then we get to Tamika and her husband. I guess they got grown kids, and then they got one little baby, I think. Yeah, but we didn't see the little baby. We didn't see any of their kids, as a matter of fact. We saw one of her daughters later on in the episode. But we get with Tamika and her husband. And they basically just all telling they loved ones about the tour, about the conjoined thing with SWV. And for the most part, their peoples are down with it. Then we get to this sit down, child. Let me drink a sip of water. The sit down started off weird. Who was that? I guess Taj. I want to say Taj and Tiny put it together, but Taj kind of called Tiny, and Tiny was just like, "I'll be there." And that's what I like about Tiny. Tiny has been very cordial. Like she just going with the flow. She ain't got no beef or nothing like that. They all her sisters to her. So Taj is there. Tiny comes first. They embrace, and then Tasha comes in. No, Candy comes in first. It's Taj is there, and then Tiny comes in, and then Candy comes in. And it's all nice embrace and stuff. Tasha comes in and only hugs Taj. And just kind of gives Candy and Tiny the hey. Then she goes sit down next to Tiny. And Tiny's like, dang, what's up? Like, you ain't gonna hug your sister? And she was like, oh, of course, of course. But it's like, if Tiny wouldn't have said that, you wouldn't have hugged your sister. So it's like, where are you really with them? Are you beefing with Tiny? Because we thought you were just beefing with Tamika and kind of not cool with Candy. And when Tasha walked in, Candy kind of was explaining where her and Tasha stood. She was like, we like oil and water. We just never got along. And then they showed this throwback from one of their spinoffs of Candy telling Tasha that she always felt like Tasha didn't like her. And Tasha was like, I've never heard this a day in my life. Things like that. So Tasha came in really cold. And Taj noticed that too. Taj was like, everything okay? No. Did she say something before? I'm trying to think. Did she say something when Tasha first came in there? I can't even remember. Either way, Tasha came in there. And then Tamika came in there. She was happy to say hi to everybody. Taj was like... and I don't think Taj knew about the beef between Tamika and Tasha. Well, I'm pretty sure she didn't know. But, what's her name? Tamika comes in there. And she says hey to everybody and everything. And she's like, where do I sit? And Taj is like, oh, right there next to your sister. So it get real, that awkward silence for like a second. Everybody looking. She sit down. He's like, you look nice. You do too. Very stale of Tasha. Because Tamika energy just seemed normal. You look nice, sister. Tasha was just like, thank you. Her energy was very stale at this meeting. Which makes me irritated on the stuff that she does later on in the episode that we'll get to. I wrote Tasha came in stale. Yes. She came in stale. Yeah, Taj had them sit side by side. So they talking about the logistics of this conjoined performance or tour or whatever it's supposed to be. And I keep licking my lip. I need to get some chapstick, but I don't want to start this video. I don't care. Okay. It's dripped a little bit. My mouth is so dry. I don't know. I woke up. I smoked and brushed my teeth. That's probably why my mouth dry. Anyway. So during this talk of logistics and everything, Todd stops and looking at Tasha. She's like, "Are you okay? Because you just look out of it." So I felt like this was Tasha couldn't wait to get this out. She just like, "I don't think that this is a good idea because we not on good terms and it's more than just business and things like that." And I'm in my head like, you've been in this game for how long and you can't separate personal from business? Regardless of what's going on with you and your sister, you and Candy, anything like that. It's always about the bag at the end of the day. It's always about making money to support your family. So all that other stuff should go in the backbone, on the back burner, in my opinion. So she's telling Tasha, she's telling SWV her reasons for why she don't want to go through with this collaboration or whatever. And they telling her like, look, you gotta put your grown woman panties on and this type of stuff. Like we can't be doing this right now. We trying to make money and we trying to make our fans happy and we trying to like have this run while we can, because we ain't gonna be able to do this in 5-10 years and things like that. So like you need to put all that petty stuff to the side. And Lily said it best. Lily gave a word, honey. She was like, what'd she say? She said, we can forgive our husbands for doing all this treacherous stuff, but when it comes to our sisters and business, we just be like, I'm not going to do it. Or I don't want to do it because I don't like so and so. And I was like, that's a word right there. That's a word. Because if you could forgive somebody for doing the most heinous things to you, then you could definitely forgive somebody, or you could definitely work and be cordial with somebody and handle business with somebody that you don't really get along with. Like, so I felt SWV on that. I felt Lily on that. The whole SWV was telling like, you can learn some stuff from us, because we've been beefing. We done beefed before. It's stuff that I don't like about her, stuff I don't like about her. But at the end of the day, we handle business, and that's why we out here still thriving. And that's what SWV was trying to tell Escape. Tasha was just being stubborn to me. I wrote that Tasha's being stubborn. I put Lily spit some knowledge. I be writing my stuff shortly so I can, and then I talk it out like that. So then, after Lily says that, Tasha tries to change the subject. Talking about some, when you guys going to Africa? I was like, this girl. I said, way to change the subject, girl. So then we get SWV, they land in Africa. They doing the daggone thing. I was like, okay, Johannesburg, 6 figures. I was like, okay, SWV. They ain't give us really too much of that. But I was like, okay, SWV still out here booked and busy. I know that's right. And then I feel like this scene could have been pulled like towards the earlier in the episode. But then we get this scene with Candy and her family. Candy and Todd. I'm surprised we ain't get no Mama Joyce. She probably out living her best life though. But yeah, she basically telling her husband about the tour and how it's so much drama. He telling them like, look, y'all OGs from the 90s. Y'all got to figure it out. Basically, just telling her that they need to get it together if they want to make this money. Like, basically the same marital talk that any other husband and wife would have. Child, then we get to this last part of the show. We get to the sit down with Tasha and Tamika and their mother. So they come in there, they sitting down, and Tamika was already hesitant. She was already like, Mom ain't never on my side. She always taking Tasha's side. I don't even know why we having this sit down. So Tasha arrives first. She's sitting down with her mom. Then Tamika comes with one of her daughters that we finally get to meet. I forgot her name. I think it was O'Shawn or something like that. But Tamika shows up with one of her daughters. So they sitting down. So the mother's like, what's the issue, basically? Excuse me. So Tamika's telling her story, telling what's going on. So as soon as Tamika gets up to start telling the story and the reactions, of course the story was kind of dramatic. She's like, she Beyonce and she walked out like that. But that's how she felt about the situation, and that's her telling her story. And instead of her mom appreciating that or just understanding that, her mom whispers to Tasha while Tamika's giving the story and says she's jealous. Why would you, like, those are both your daughters. Why would you tell your daughter something like that? That she's jealous of her. So this already make Tasha feel like she already won this situation. So she stops Tamika from talking, saying that she should win an Academy Award, basically saying like she over exaggerating and things like that. And Tamika's like, look, I already knew you was gonna take Tasha's side. And Tasha is sitting up there acting like, and then the thing is, when Tamika first got there, Tasha was a totally different person from when she was at that brunch with the SWV and Escape. And that's why I was saying, like, when they was at that brunch, she was so stale and standoffish to her sister too. Then she gets to her mom's house in front of her mom and want to be like, hey sis, and at the end of the day, we still family. But then she wants to throw out that her sister body shamed her. Now Tamika told her, like, girl, that's a figure of speech. If you really thought somebody body shamed, like, really? And then later on in the conversation, Tasha yells out, unfortunately, we are family or something. Or we are family, but there's nothing I can do about that. And Tamika was like, see, like, mom, you never hold her accountable for things that you hold me accountable for. Child, I will yell colorism, but I'm not going to do that. Because they sisters, that's their mom. But I just was like, dang, the dark-skinned daughter getting treated worse than the light-skinned daughter. But that's for a whole nother conversation, child. I'm not even going to get into that. But I was just like, Tasha was acting so different from when she was at that brunch. So Tamika's telling her mom, like, I don't know what I expected. Like, I knew you were going to take her side. You always take her side. She's like, you even took her side when she took my money. So that's when it started getting all hectic and stuff. So they're like, what you talking about? So they move on to the confessional with Tamika tell the whole story about how she got a call from Tiny. She was supposed to get I think residual checks for performances they did or something like that, and she told Tiny she didn't get them, and Tiny did some background checking and found out that they was getting sent to Tasha, and Tasha was cashing them, or Tasha's husband was cashing them, or something like that. In a way, I believe Tamika, but at the same time, I'm like, Tasha, I believe Tamika, but how would Tasha or her husband get checks cashed that's in Tamika's name? So that's why I'm kind of lost. But I mean, I guess there's ways around that. I don't know. But I do believe Tamika. Tamika got real heated about it. And the reason why I believe Tamika the most is because when she was like, the girl I had investigating, she was ready to lock you up. And but I told her, nah, that's my sister. And then she was like, I still could get you locked up now. You want to go to jail? So, and it got real quiet too. So I was like, Tasha, you did that, sis. You did it. And then when she said that, she said, you want to go to jail? I still can get you locked up now. The mother was like, cut the camera. And that's when I knew. I said, this girl's telling the truth. Because the mother don't want to talk about it now. But before that, it was all she jealous. And they feel like, they probably feel like she wasn't going to say nothing. Because she done said, I mean, it was something that Candy said earlier in the episode when she was talking to her husband. She said that Tamika never feels like she can speak. I mean, she always been ride or die for Tasha. And even if they was beefing. So I feel like in that moment, the mom and Tasha didn't think that Tamika was going to go there. But Tamika probably was like, I reached my breaking point. Like, you always taking her side. You never take up for me. Even when she stole my money and all that stuff happened. And she was like, cut the cameras off. Ooh, I caught that. But that was the end. That was the end. And I was just like, damn, I forgot to do my rate. I usually rate the episode at the beginning of the video and then at the end. But I forgot. But yeah, I would rate this episode I would give it an A-. It was very good. Like, it was very subtle. It showed family. It had a couple of little hee-hee moments. And it had some little drama. But it wasn't too much. So I liked that. So I would definitely give it an A-. I mean, I would give it an A+, but it's like, it ain't give me nothing like that had me like, oh, snap. But yeah, overall, A-. My predictions from what I seen in the preview, Tasha talking about she going solo, I feel like it's a bad move because, no offense, but at this stage in the game, like, you better off with Escape than going solo. Because ain't nobody going to want you be out here like solo artists and out here like Chloe and doing all this and all that. They going to want you like solo artists and like singing vocals for artists and like recording for artists and stuff. They not going to have you have your own stuff out here. I feel like she just going to be like in the background sort of. I feel like Escape, she should stick with that. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I don't think it's going to happen because Tasha is so hesitant on not doing this. Which is crazy to me because you act one way at the brunch, but then you get around your mother and you acting like you and Tamika can be cordial. So it's just like, what is it really? I don't know. But I don't think this thing is going to happen. I mean, I feel like they're going to keep filming. But all in all, I feel like the actual performance or whatever was supposed to be happening, I don't think it's going to happen. Because Tamika is too full of... I mean, not Tamika. Tasha is too full of herself. So, unless they do it without her. But from what I understand, she's like one of the best vocalists in the group. And she has some of like the key parts of the most songs and stuff. So, I don't know. But we're going to see. That was my predictions, my rating. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.